There are a couple ways to solve this question. The easiest way though is going to be to pick values for our variable and plug in some numbers. So let's go ahead and let's read our question. We're told if a divided by absolute value of a is less than a and a is not 0, then which of the following cannot be true? So when we pick our values for a and test these answer choices, we're looking for which of the following answer choices would never happen. So if one of these actually is satisfied by our choice for A, we can check it off and cross it off as an answer choice because it could happen. So we're looking for the one that can't happen. So let's pick a couple values for A. When we're picking values, we want to keep in mind the restrictions. We're not allowed to have 0, but we're not told whether A has to be positive or negative. So when we pick our values, we want to pick a couple different scenarios. We'll start with when A is positive, and we need to make sure that this inequality holds because that's the given information. So let's suppose A is 2, positive 2. We could double check this inequality here. We'll have a 2 over absolute value of 2. Is that less than 2? So that's actually equal to 1, because absolute value of 2 is 2. And that is less than 2. So the inequality here is satisfied. And A is not 0, so we're good there. And now let's go ahead and let's double check our answer choices. For our first answer choice, if A is 2, we'd have 2 is greater than 1. So that's actually satisfied, so that can be true. And we can rule that answer choice out because remember, we're looking for the one that cannot be true for all cases. So answer choice B, we have, we're double checking whether positive 2 is less than negative 1, and that's actually not true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true for every case, so we have to leave it open for our answer choice, so we can't rule it out, but we also can't stop and choose that as our answer choice. So let's go ahead and move on. Is absolute value of A greater than 1? Well, absolute value of 2 is equal to 2, and that is greater than 1. So this is actually satisfied. That can be true, and just like choice A, we could rule out choice C. Let's go ahead and check choice D. Absolute value, or 2 over absolute value of 2, we said that is this guy that we checked over here actually, and that is equal to 1. So that's actually satisfied as well by this, and we did the work over here for our choice D. So we don't need to redo the work. We can rule that out automatically. Now we saw that A over absolute value of A is equal to positive 1, so it's not equal to negative 1. So this one doesn't work for our choice as A equal to 2. So that actually leaves 2 choices open that did not work for our choice for when A is positive 2. And we said before that sometimes when we pick numbers, we're going to need to pick a couple of different values to keep narrowing down our answer choices. So we picked a positive value, and since we're only told that A can't be 0, we want to pick a negative value, and usually that will help us rule out these extra answer choices. If we pick another positive value, we might end up running into the same issue that we did with 2. So we want to kind of pick a variety here. Let's go ahead and pick A equal to a negative number, but we do need a negative number that satisfies this inequality. So if we choose A equal to negative 1/2, we could double check our inequality. We'd have negative 1/2 over absolute value of negative 1/2. And that's actually going to equal, if we think about this, we'll have negative 1/2 in the top and a positive 1/2 in the bottom. And that actually simplifies to negative 1. And we're double checking whether this is less than our A, which is negative 1/2, and it is. Right, so negative 1 is definitely less than negative 1/2, so that means this inequality is satisfied. Our A isn't 0, so we're good there. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at our answer choices. If we actually notice down here, A over absolute value of A, that's what we found out down here checking our original inequality. And that's equal to negative 1, so this actually can happen, and this is all of the work for choice E. So since that can happen for some answer choice or some values of A, we can actually rule that out. And we don't even have to verify choice B again because our choice B is the only option left. So our answer choice would be choice B. But if we did want to verify it, we could notice that -1/2 is not less than -1. We actually have the opposite going on. So that actually can't be true either. So either way, if we needed to reason it out, we can. But answer choice B is our final answer.